Coming up next on Rockin' Real Estate Tips from the Rocket. Hello, everybody. This is sensational Stacy Corrigan, the Rocket from Woonsocket, super proud badass broker and founder of Peace of Mind Property Management and Real Estate Inc. And we are building the most epic team in Blackstone Valley, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. We're very excited to bring you today our first in a series of buyer tips. And I know it's not a sexy topic. Looking at houses is much more fun. However, it is a very necessary topic. And what I'm going to share with you today are the three most important reasons why you need a pre-qualification letter and why it is so important. So in a quick overview, you need one at a minimum to have your agent definitely present an offer and possibly even to get into the property. Number two, you want multiple pre-qualification letters for negotiation purposes. I'll tell you the types and some of the reasons behind certain different ones. And then also you want to make sure that your lender has reviewed your financial information and hasn't just asked you questions on the phone. So I will give you all the details coming up next. One thing is for certain, your home is likely the largest financial asset you'll own. And the big question is this: who can you turn to expertly guide you with the right strategies, next best steps, and the exact how-to? How to get started with the home buying process, how to get the best rate and terms for a loan, how to negotiate the best offer for the purchase of your largest financial asset and propel your equity so you can stay on course for you and your family's dreams. That is the question, and this video series will give you the answers. My name is Stacy Corrigan, and welcome to Rockin' Real Estate Tips with the Rocket. All right, so as you're probably aware, the market is very competitive right now, and having a quality pre-qualification letter from your lender and having multiple different ones from different lenders is going to serve you very well to help you go in strong and get the house that you want and be the most competitive in getting your offer accepted. I have a few stories to share with you to emphasize the points that I made about the three topics. So the first topic is that you need to have at a minimum, have your agent present your pre-qual letter with your offer or to get a showing. Unfortunately, we don't like when we have to give it in advance because now we've revealed your position, what you're qualified for. Sometimes we edit the pre-qual letters so that they don't know what you're maximum qualified for. But sometimes knowing that you're qualified for more can actually help serve you better, that they know that you're strongly qualified. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple examples. But I did have a client once who wanted to view properties. This is earlier before we had such a competitive market. And they didn't think they needed to get pre-qualified despite my advice to do so. They said, oh, we can do that when we're ready to make an offer. I said, okay, but it's a concern. You may miss out on the house. And that is exactly what happened. So for some reason, the market wasn't hot, but this house was hot. And they really wanted this house. And there were multiple offer situation. The open house was on Saturday, and they were actually under contract on Sunday. I submitted my client's offer at the request. I had to, but they had no pre-qualification letter to substantiate their offer, and their offer didn't get considered. I mean, obviously the seller has to look at it, but they didn't know for sure that they could perform. So their offer wasn't even considered. So that's a bummer, and that stinks, and you don't want to be in that position. Going into the next point, we want to make sure that you have multiple pre-qualification letters for negotiation purposes. So I'm going to share my screen. I have two here for the same clients. Okay. So they called the lender and said, hey, we have this much down. We want to put 20% down. And so and here's what we think we could afford for a payment. So now the lender calculated how much they had down against how much they could afford for a payment, and it produced this number of $465. However, I advise my client that you may want to get some other qualification letters from other lenders. And so one of the lenders on my list said, hey, let's not limit you to the 20% down. Let's see where you qualified at 10%, just in case you want to have some flexibility there, because the PMI really wasn't that much per month. And let's see what you're qualified for based on your income, not just based on what you think you can afford. Now, obviously, they're prudent people and they wanted to only purchase a house that they can afford, which I respect, and that's perfectly good. But imagine if you have a person bidding on a house for 465 and you have a prequal letter only up to 465, and let's say this was the house of their dreams that they wanted and they were willing to go a little higher to, let's say, 480, just a little higher. Now, if they show a prequal of 650, that makes them look hugely qualified for this house. There's no way a seller's going to counter from 485 to 650. So now it looks like, oh my God, this client, it could really well qualify for this property. So it puts you in a really strong negotiation position. And it is contrary to what some people think, that you're revealing your hand. Unfortunately, in this market, we have to reveal our hand. There's no other choice. So let's go in and reveal that hand in a very strong, powerful way. Third, you want to make sure that your lender has reviewed your financial information. So I had another client who we got this prequal based on the lender is one that I recommended, so I knew her process, and she qualified them for 300,000. Oh, I thought it was 325. Um, anyhow, she qualified for them for 300. So they were a little disappointed with that because they're having trouble finding a property that they wanted at that price point. All right. They did have 10% down, so that was good. That's strong. However, can't find any properties for 300 or under. So now they wanted to get another prequal, which is fine. They had a relationship with TD Bank. So now TD gives them a prequal for 355. But I did not refer them there. I didn't know how the lender worked for that. And we got their offer accepted on a property. And then the listing agent called TD and finds out that the TD lender hadn't even looked at pay stubs, didn't look at tax returns, and they basically were trusting the buyer on what they said for income. And unfortunately, the buyer couldn't substantiate that income. So sometimes, working under the table, talking to somebody and telling them certain facts, but if it can't be backed up, then the loan isn't going to go through. And another one of my clients who, before she found me, she used TD as well. And I don't mean to ding TD, I'm just giving anecdotal experience here. And the same thing happened to her. She got a prequal letter. She went under contract on a house and she could not perform because at the very last minute, TD denied her because their process wasn't tight. They weren't solid in the beginning. You don't want to go through 45 to 60 days of this process and a whole lot of stress to only find out at the end that you cannot close. A whole lot of people are relying on that transaction to happen, and it can really screw things up and it could cost you money, honestly. Okay. So those are some significant examples. And just to recap, you want a prequal letter to possibly even get your showing, get in the door, and then definitely to submit with your offer so the sellers know that you're serious about buying the house and that you can perform. You want to have multiple prequal letters from 2 to 3 different lenders for negotiation purposes. You want to make sure that you let them know to review your pay stubs and your tax returns and your credit score so that you get the truest information, the closest to what you're truly approved for. And maybe a couple different scenarios. Maybe you want 10% down, 20% down. And then now you have these, let's say if you needed to show a little higher prequal for a slightly higher house, you can show that higher one and make sure you get considered in a strong way. The other reason you might want to have multiple different pre-qualification letters
is for different loan types. So not everybody can qualify for a conventional loan. So there's VA, FHA, and conventional. And if you have a conventional loan, that's one of the strongest negotiating loan types of loans. So if you qualify for FHA, why don't you ask your lender to see if you couldn't also qualify for a conventional loan? Typically, FHA loans people sometimes have a lower credit score. They don't have as much of a down payment. You can do a 3.5% loan for FHA, down payment. And conventional sometimes requires 5%, but sometimes you can even get a conventional loan for 3%. So these are all options to ask your lender that, if let's say a certain house couldn't sell FHA, but it could sell conventional due to property condition, then now you have more options. So definitely consider asking your lender for what different types of loans you could qualify for to help make you the most competitive. And lastly, you want to be sure that your lender has reviewed your financial information, didn't just take it at your word, so that you can have a really strong letter that doesn't get the balloon popped, the air popped out of it later, and you can't perform and you can't close the deal. Because isn't the end result to find you the house of your dreams and make sure that we can all get to the finish line? So we want to help you do that.
I hope you enjoyed your time with us today. I know I enjoyed sharing. And remember that a house is made of walls and beams, but a home is made from hopes and dreams. We hope to see you soon on the next episode. Have a great day. Hey, it's Stacy, and I have a cool gift for you. I've taken some of my best tips and created an ultimate buyer's guide for you. It's pretty thorough, and it takes you from considering buying a house to closing on your new home. And I want to give it to you for free, just as a thank you for listening to the show. No fluff, no gimmicks, just pure actionable ideas for you to use instantly. You can grab it right now at pompmre.com/buying, BUYING. Should be right there on the screen to help you out. And do you know anyone who could benefit from this episode? If so, please share it with them. No pressure. We just want to help as many people as we can. Also, if you found something interesting in this episode, send me a quick message and let me know what was good, what was helpful, or hey, I'm going to do that. Just shoot me a quick message and let me know what resonated with you. That way I can continue helping you propel your equity to new heights for the benefit of you and your family. We appreciate you, and I hope you make it a great day.